What up, guys? Welcome back to the Flick Experience. I'm the host man, Gabriel here. So, right now for tonight, I am reviewing Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, or as we like to call it, Dead Reckoning Part 2, since I saw this on Memorial Day because it came out last weekend and I had the chance to see it on a Monday late at night to see this movie. And yeah, do I think this is going to be the last one, or maybe it's ends sort of a open the road to maybe there might be a nine. But yeah, this franchise has came a long, long way. Like from the start of 1996 to like now, 2025, since the last one was released from 2024. Or I mean, this franchise has come a long way. This is probably like the only action movie franchise that just gets better and better and better. Unlike the Fast and Furious films, which are fucking dumb, no offense to any of the Furious fans out there, but it's like they just get dumber every single time as they make the sequels when it was just street racing. Mission Impossible doesn't do that. It gets better and better just with the quality and the action, like direction they make these films. Plot wise, some make sense, some doesn't, but overall, they most of the time they had good plots for a bit. But anyway, it came a long road, and now we're here to the final reckoning. And the final reckoning, as usual, it's been directed by Christopher McQuarrie, who also writes the script with Eric Jenderson. It stars Tom Cruise, Simon Pegg, Haley Atwell, Ring Rames, Palm Clement, and Tiff Greg Davis, Shea Wingham. Even Angela Bassett reprises her role as the CIA director from, I think, from Fallout. And we also get Henry Scenery back as Kittredge from the very first one, and then part one of Dead Reckoning. So I was surprised that this was going to be part two of this film. Well, maybe not surprised because I already knew this was going to be part two of another sequel, and people think this is Mission Impossible number 8, but to me this is just seven split into two parts. You know, like how Harry Potter, there's Deathly Hallows, and it's the seventh book in the series, but it's just split into two parts. That's what it is. Now, do I think it's going to be super iconic than Deathly Hallows? Well, I'm not sure about that. Let's just see. So, as usual, if you, for any of you that remembers part one of the film, I'm sure by now there might be some spoilers here. If you haven't seen part one, I recommend you hear that. And I think I made an episode of that in my last episode from like the very last season on the audio format. I'll leave the links below for the rest of my show. So, as you may know, at the end of part one, Ethan flies off away from his parachute, having contained the key from SEI Morales' character, Gabriel, who I always thought was his code name, by the way, which, by the way, spoiler, we never found out about this villain's backstory. It's like, I was just assuming that his name was like a code name. You know, if he's like the messenger, then the entity AI is God. So plot for this film is that Hunt and his IMF team unite to prevent the entity, a rogue AI of this godlike artificial intelligence, is from unleashing to global destruction against humanity. And somehow there are some people that are protesting against this AI making this own decisions. And at the same time, there's like a half of people who are somehow the believers, which is the main villain, sort of a worshiper guy. And they're saying, no, let the AI runs its course. Let the AI do its work. It somehow like divides the people, like in a political way. I wish we would have seen more scenes of this, but yeah, the plot is just Ethan Hunt trying to stop AI while doing crazy stunts in this movie. I mean, plot wise for this film, it's a 3 hour long movie, but keep in mind, 3 hours long, I don't mind long movies. It's just that I had to be invested in it. As long as it keeps me invested in the story, all right, then maybe I might have a chance to like keep seeing more and more information. And I don't mind. It has lots of expositions on these sequences. I guess it's sort of like reminding the audience because I'm pretty sure the viewers will have no idea if this is like their first film. But I recommend to everyone, don't walk into a sequel of a film if you don't know part one of it. Watch all the films or watch a very quick review that's on YouTube from that's like a 5 minute recap of the stuff. But I remember in the first act of the film, it's sort of a recap of all the Mission Impossible movies and everything Ethan Hunt's character, which is Tom Cruise, just goes through all the sequences, every mission he's been through and every single like action sequence he's done. And it's pretty cool, but it's almost like First act gets slow, the second act, third act sort of picks up. Now, keep in mind, the movie was split into two parts and a budget of 300 to 400 million dollars. Right now, its box office is 227.1 million dollars at the box office. It's still the first week. Let's see if it grows more in time, but I could see Tom Cruise performing this film, like trying to promote this film. I mean, it was even in the trailers, like he's probably one of the best movie stars of all time, probably the last as well. I said that in my last episode, from way back. I can to season three how Tom Cruise literally can do any stunt he can. He's like our American version of Jackie Chan, and he's just like fucking phenomenal, you know. So let me get down to the pros and cons to it. Pros are the stunts. The stunts, I think I recommend you see this movie just for the stunts. Tom Cruise is hanging off the fucking biplane way out in the air, and it's like super phenomenal. And you could tell he's really doing it, okay? If you've seen every behind the scenes video on YouTube or anything like that, he's really doing it. He's hanging off on the planes. He's hanging off like on the skyscrapers. He's hanging on the train. He's fighting on top of the train. He's surviving the train crash. All those movies practical, and it's him. No stuntmen are involved in this, maybe a few, but it's mostly just him. I mean, the biplane, he's hanging on for his life while risking to save these movies. I mean, I bet Buster Keaton would do this kind of shit too. So the stunts are amazing. There's a great underwater sequence that can also be very claustrophobic and all. And Tom Cruise, it's like you feel the intensity in this film. No, there's by the way, in that scene, there's literally like no music involved in this. There's like a little bit of a somber, like soft score of building up, but it's mostly just silent while in the underwater sequence. It's like they are beautifully shot. Christopher McQuarrie did an excellent job directing those action sequences with state-of-the-art water tanks that I heard when they were shooting this movie, and it is like flawless. I recommend you go see that. And the next pro is there are the throwback recaps of the last films. Like you get to see highlights a few of the films, and then some characters return for the role. Like for example, Henry Scenery's character comes back as Rich Ridge, and then there's like another minor character also from the very first film. And then I forgot to mention the other new characters also come back. Greg Davis as Theo Degas, and then Shea Wigham as Jasper Briggs come back as roles. They were the CIA agents from the last film of Dead Reckoning, and also come back to like I think sort of help Ethan Hunt, and also Palm Clementif as Paris comes back, who was the assassin in the part one of the film that tries to kill Ethan Hunt, but then somehow survived. I was surprised she survived at the end of part one, and now she switches sides and is part of the IMF team. So is Haley Atwell as Grace. So the only thing I always had to question about this film is that there was never much backstory on a few characters. Like for example, like the villain, of course, Gabriel. I always saw like again that would be his code name, but I always think it would be something like Victor Delgado or something, because I always want to know if he knows something about Ethan's past, maybe from like his very first mission on the IMF team. He must be like maybe a former agent, an assassin that once knew Ethan. I wish there was more backstory to this guy. I want to know why he's doing this. Why I didn't understand his motivation. He just felt like a cliche mustache twirl, like ha ha ha, maniacal kind of villain. It's just like, why are you worshiping the damn AI? Is the AI entity threaten you to do something? Are you blackmailed? What the hell is going on? I didn't understand any of that logic. It just made no sense. It just feels inconvenient and convoluted, like messy and stuff, you know. So there's a pro to the recaps of the last films, and then the other pro is the action direction sequences. Like I said, the plane stunt scenes and the water sequences is on the submarines and stuff, and then even the part where Tom Cruise jumps off from a cruiser and a military cruiser and jumps right into the ocean and all. And there's some good shootout sequences here, but honestly, in this movie, there's like literally less actions and more dialogue expositions. They try to make it look like a real film sort of a way, which again, I don't mind, but I know some people are not going to pay to watch 3 hours of just boring talking dialogue. Some people do like this, but I guess you had to be just very invested to the plot. I was listening to it the whole time in details and stuff. I was watching the movie, focus. However, there were some confusing thoughts like, okay, this makes sense. The entity is doing what and all, but try to be as focused as you can when you're watching this film. If you have to, grab a soda or a coffee while you're watching the film for 3 hours. So Oh, it's more like give it a chance and don't give it a chance. It's like 50-50 on 3 hours of films. I have a couple of pros of what I just said and all. Now, here are the cons. The cons are there's lots of exposition and mixed progress, but the plot, I mean, I don't understand the whole AI being the villain and all because I get it's trying to relate to where we are now and all. And somehow in the political side of the film is that when Angela Bassett comes back and is now elected the president of the United States, she is faced, which I thought this was interesting. She is faced with a tough decision that her cabinet members, including the military involved, are trying to suggest like we need to sacrifice our city, or else the AI has will like connect to all of our military resources and missiles and destroy the entire world. We have to sacrifice one of our cities so we can protect it and stop. They're trying to lead her to misdirection. And if you think of it, Bassett's character is like thinking you're right, but I feel like I don't. It's like in her gut feeling, she doesn't want to like pull on the missile. But I could see she's the president in this time. She's like very vulnerable and is faced with a tough like leadership position. So like I could just imagine what the president is going through. And also, I thought that part was interesting, showing a little bit of the political side a bit. Maybe not too much, but I'm glad they showed it some. And just the whole artificial entity and all. I wish I would have named it, like something like Skynet or something, or Genesis from Terminator. The other con about this is the plot is very mixed, confusing. Even when it was introduced in part one, I just wish it would have had like another villain controlling the AI. Well, like, what if it's the opposite? Like it's a guy planning a really bad virus who hides underground, sort of like Javier Bardem's character in Skyfall, where he's a cyber terrorist act character. And I was thinking maybe it could be the other way, where SCI Morales' character is controlling the entity. It's confusing, and basically the whole plot, it's basically almost like Terminator 2 stopping Skynet. The IMF, except there's no Terminators involved, no time travel and all. That'd be crazy. It's basically the IMF. We have to shut Skynet down, find the system core, and take it down with this key, gold key, and stop the service system. I mean, part of the plot, it's a little like formulaic sort of way, but but it makes sense for the film. But it did kind of throw me off a bit. And the other thing is less action, complicated plot is the AI as the enemy and stuff. I mean, I had problems with the villain overall. Part of the Mission Impossible series, a lot of people say it's usually the villains. There's never been an iconic villain. The only iconic villain, which a lot of people agree, and I would say so, is MI3 Philip Seymour Hoffman's character as Owen Davian. I thought that was a great ruthless villain because he got Ethan Hunt at a vulnerable, like, personal trait. Hey, to like he got to his weakness when finding his fiance at the time and tried to torture her and saying, "If you don't get me this rabbit's foot thing, I will kill her." Or I wanted something more like that villain. So I thought he was like perfect villain in MI3. Maybe parts of Rogue Nation, Sean Harris's character from Fallout and Henry Cavill, I thought those were good. But Philip Seymour Hoffman, I thought he was the best villain. And I wish we would have seen more of Ethan Hunt being more in a vulnerable state with his teammates and all. And I wish there was some more action sequence on the fight sequences. There was one fight sequences that was off camera a bit, and I wanted to see how Ethan Hunt is beating up at the bad guys and all. And the other problem is that it just felt like Tom Cruise is like the only character. Not only like I get he's doing all the stunts and all. It just feels like he's doing all this by himself, and his teammates are barely around, helping sort of little things on the side, which that's okay. But it just reminded me of MI2. It's just feel like it's just Ethan Hunt doing most of the work and most of the stunts, and his teammates are just on the side cheering him, trying to help him getting out of some stuff. But I just wish there was some other characters that they had to. They could get a stuntman to do the stunts with him, and so then I'll be like, you don't have to do this alone. Oh, I like my point is that I wish it was all like a team again, like in the first film, especially Ghost Protocol, when they all like work together as a team instead of just Tom Cruise doing all the work. It just feels like I'm the main guy. I have to do this. I'm by myself, even though I'm just obeying rules. But he's Ethan Hunt. He's always gonna do the same. I just wish there was more depth to this character's like position right now, and then we have the team helping him nearby, helping him like on the front lines. We barely get any of this in part one a bit, and then also in part two. I think part one a little bit, but part two recently, it seems kind of dragged a bit. So overall, those are my pros and cons for this film. And do I think now, no spoilers on the ending, but the ending, it just feels not abrupt, but it's just like, okay, well, that's it. it's gonna end. Maybe tiny crumbs. It might be one more. I don't know. But however, honestly, if it just ends right there, if this is the final reckoning, because I always said in the last episodes, oh, it's the final reckoning. Even with the word final, that could mean a lot of things. I mean, it can be subjective. Like, is this the final, like the final part of the episode, like in shows where it's like the title, final, part one, part two, but it's not the series finale. Like, this is just the final of these two-part episodes. Maybe it's this one, or it's the series finale overall of this entire mission films, you know? And honestly, if it ends it right there, then I'll be okay with it. I'll be okay with it. To be honest, I thought it was going to end on Fallout, but if ends right here, then it's like, okay, okay, I think we could retire the franchise by now. I mean, who knows? I'd assume they maybe down the road, if they ever do reboot it again, they could get a whole new team and a whole new cast, like passing the torch overall. But if that's the end, then fine. Now, do I think maybe they might make another ninth film down the road? Maybe. If they do, I think the ninth film will be the last one. You never know. Tom Cruise goes in space, literally go to space, and maybe that could work. But yeah, Final Reckoning Part 2, it's all right. So for my grading for this film, I'm going to give this 3.5 out of 5 G stars. So there you have it, guys. That's my review of Final Reckoning Part 2. Go see either film. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, I understand. But if you're a bit hardcore, like Mission Impossible fan, if you want to see Tom Cruise do action stunts, I recommend and you see this film. This is a movie star that knows how to make films. This is a movie star that knows how to make action come to life with real practical stunts and real effects. Christopher McQuarrie's direction is amazing. That's how action movies should be made. That's how they should be made, and that's how it always should be. Making the stunts come to life. That's movie cinema magic right there. You know, authenticity, real life. So there you have it, guys. Don't forget to follow my podcast on audio format on, as usual, at the end credits, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, yada, yada, yada. And you get to follow me right here on this YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below. I'll leave links right there to my podcast shows, to the links, audio or video right now, because this is season 4, and you'll catch all my other seasons, 1, 2, 3, on the links below. And yeah, let me know. Email me too, because my email's right there on my Instagram page. You get to follow me on that, giving any comments or questions or business inquiries, yada, yada, yada. I'm pretty sure by now, I always say this all the time just to remind people. And yeah, go tell your friends about the show and keep on listening to the host man. So as usual, this is Gabriel, the host man, saying to you all, good night, everyone.